And Bree, you and I were talking earlier, you said no wonder the crops were confused because we were all really confused about what the weather was doing so far this year. But what can we expect for the rest of the year coming up?
Yeah, that's a tough question, Abby. And I also want to just say so much respect, and we're so thankful for our farmers here locally and really around the country keeping the food on our table. So thank you to them through those rough seasons for working so hard to make sure that we do have our agricultural crops that are making it to harvest. So it was a hot summer. Abby talked a little bit about that. 27 days at triple digits, the most on record for Boise. And we were sweltering into September. We saw a 129-day stretch of high temperatures, at least 70 degrees or above in Boise. That was the second longest stretch of that type on record. And so many of you have asked throughout the entire summer and then into the beginning of fall, after such a scorching summer, all of this confusing weather, will it be a wild winter? It's inevitable that every year around this time we all start to wonder what's in store for this winter. After the unforgettable snowmageddon of 2016-2017 with 39.1 inches of snow in Boise, almost double the seasonal snowfall average, it's no wonder that some of us are always a little worried about winter. KTVB received this question through our text line. I was told by several people that Idaho is going to have the worst winter with blizzards since 1909. I'm freaking out. If that were the forecast, I would be freaking out too. It's like visions of Pa Ingalls and Mr. Edwards, struggling to get from the barn to the little house with zero visibility. It makes me shiver with worries of winter. But who's talking about blizzards? Let's look at a few famous forecasts for winter 2022-23. The Farmer's Almanac, established in 1818, says the far west and the Pacific Northwest will see about normal precipitation, and extra flannels are necessary. That's a direct quote. The Old Farmer's Almanac, established in 1792, says for the Intermountain region, we can expect warmer than normal temperatures and above normal precipitation, and expect cold and snow from mid-November through early February, but that just sounds like winter to me. AccuWeather says the weather setup will be one of the most complicated and dynamic in recent memory due to all of the weather factors in play over the upcoming months, mainly due to the expected third La Niña winter in a row. Now, La Niña, of course, refers to the cooler sea surface temperatures across the east-central equatorial Pacific, as opposed to El Niño, which signifies warmer sea surface temperatures. The equatorial Pacific looks cool for another winter. And NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, agrees. There is a 75% chance of La Niña during northern hemispheric winter, which would be a La Niña three-peat, meaning our third La Niña winter in a row. This could mean some surprises, since we don't have a lot of winters on record that were a third La Niña in a row, but those few analog winters did end with near-average snowfall for Boise. Another reliable source for a long-range outlook would be the Climate Prediction Center, a division of the National Weather Service. The CPC temperature outlook for December, January, and February shows equal chances of above or below average temps for southern Idaho. In other words, flip a coin. The precipitation outlook shows a slight lean toward above average precipitation, with an even better chance in the central mountains. So our outlook, well, keep in mind, forecast accuracy and confidence lowers the longer the forecast period is. The next 7 days, we got it. Beyond that, it becomes a little more vague. And when you're looking at an entire season, you're talking about just a very general idea. We'll have to see how November goes, but currently our thinking is that we'll end up with another year of near-average snowfall for Boise, with slightly above-average snow in the mountains. That's great news for skiers, great news for farmers. But will it be the worst winter since 1909, a Little House on the Prairie winter? Doubtful. Just to ease your winter worries, seeing another winter like 2016-2017 is only about a 9% chance of happening in any given winter. Only a 9% chance of having a Little House on the Prairie winter. Now, average seasonal snow for Boise, it's about 20 inches, but you're talking about that over the entire season, so it doesn't come all at once. It's an inch here, a few inches to shovel there. What we are sure of when it comes to the winter outlook is that we can expect cold weather and snow. The extra flannels, not a bad idea. And of course, the First Alert Weather Team will be here for you every step of the way. The only team in town that has 4 meteorologists anxious to keep an eye on all of the updates. And I did mention in that outlook that we have to kind of see how November goes. We haven't even passed the Halloween trick-or-treating, hangover that comes on November 1st, and daylight saving time hasn't ended just yet. That happens next weekend. So what's the outlook for November? Taking a look again at the Climate Prediction Center's outlook for the entire month of November is that it does favor above average temperatures for southern Idaho. Now that's a slight lean toward those above average temperatures for southern Idaho. So that would indicate that we may see more valley rain, mountain snow events as we get through the Thanksgiving holiday, because we are looking at an above average precipitation outlook for the month of November as well, which is great news to get that snowpack going through the month of November, which is the final month of meteorological fall. So again, vague clues of what to expect in the long range, but I will tell you this, as we focus on our temperatures right now and what's in store for tomorrow, I've got a better idea to give you. 61, our first 60-degree high temperature for Boise that we've seen so far this season, if you can believe it. And it gets even warmer tomorrow. This time last weekend, the trick-or-treat forecast was looking a little scary. Nothing too spooky. No wicked wet weather that we're expecting for tomorrow. In fact, wicked warm as we hit highs that are in the mid-60s tomorrow and falling back into the upper 50s for trick-or-treating, with the sun going down at 6:36, Doug. So getting through Halloween and then eventually getting through the month of November.
That was a really interesting outlook, though, of how everything comes together with all those different agencies, of course, working on it. But still, as you said, flip of a coin. If this happens, then that will happen.
Yeah, we could be surprised, 9% chance on any given winter for another snow blitz, snowmageddon winter like 2016, 2017, but here's my hope.
We don't need a January like that again. All right. Bree, thanks. We'll see you in a little bit.